Are we allowed to talk about Clyde? Because I'm worried about Clyde. We want him to be...
He's got a very injured back, but we...
You went to the
we spent about 6 to 7 hours in veterinary situation yesterday between two vets.
Oh, you went from one to the other?
Yeah.
And what did they say?
Well, we're medicating the problem right now, and so far he's better today than he was yesterday. So.
Okay, so it's all back related.
It's all back related.
And you know, corgis have longer back. I'm trying to remember something you told me off air.
Yeah. They're long-bodied dogs, and those kind of dogs have back problems a lot. So it's, we're going to see what happens. It might be a surgical thing, but I'm hoping that he rebounds from this.
Oh, so he could just rebound. And is there anything that he needs to stop doing so much?
Right now, he needs to stop doing everything for about a month.
And does he not like to do that?
Right now, he's okay with it because it hurts to do stuff. But the problem will come probably in assuming things work.
Yeah.
He'll get enough strength back in about a week where it'll start to become a problem where we actually have to control him. But right now, it's more like you have to move him.
Right. You have to move him in what way?
I mean, he can't walk around. Like, I have to carry him from place to place.
He's really got to rest.
Yeah.
Well, and only thing I'm thankful for a lot of things, but the only thing I'm thankful for in this case was that you told me that my foot was right against Clyde's the other day.
Yeah.
Because if I had moved in to Clyde...
Yeah, you would have heard a yelp and you would be guilty for like 6 months.
6 months,
yeah.
Which wouldn't have helped the dog. It wouldn't have helped you. And it wouldn't have helped me because somehow I would blame you for allowing me to have a horrible OCD event.
Right. Well, to your credit, you're thanking me for not. So
I found that my therapist says double negatives really are the way out of the trap. The way not.
What?
Double negatives are really not the way not out of the trap.
Huh. That's a cute thing for her to say. And you didn't quit when she said that?
No. Okay. No. Because, well, I think you're asking me is in my Margaret showing up my stories. Or currently that would be Kathy Griffin. Margaret Cho didn't do it. In fact, I feel guilty that I used to make fun of Margaret Cho, but I don't know why, it just was when Quentin Tarantino
I wouldn't start pulling at that thread, the guilt for making fun of people thread. Not this close to a speech.
Well, we're very close now. I don't know what that means. We're very nice. I'm very nice to everyone except Hitler that I've made fun of.
Yeah.
I would not be nice to him. Or I don't think I'd be nice. I don't want. I wouldn't want to see Louis C.K.
All right.
You wouldn't, right?
No.
Why did I have to bring you into it? You had nothing to do with it. So that was, what day was this when this happened? Friday when you went to the two vets?
No,
Sunday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
God, my whole time is off. And is the one vet obviously like a specialist?
We had to go see a neurologist, yeah.
This is unbelievable. I mean, I'm not going to make comedy out of it, but the fact that, you know what? I just thought I mixed up psychologist with neurologist.
Yeah. Let's see, make comedy out of that, huh?
Oh, no, I just thought, what's it get? Hey, what is it get? And when's it going to stop with these dogs when they have neurologists? And I realized, that's an actual system that they can check. Although I'm not really sure what neurology is. I think it's the study of neurons.
No, of nerves.
Well, nerves.
Yeah.
Well, what's the root word of nerves? Neuro. No.
Yes.
No, it's not. Is it?
They're all.
Do you just want? Let me go on for a while, and then you just give me signals of where I'm hot and cold, and you can splice it later into a scientific thing for us.
Yeah.
No.
So it was a fucking drag. It's been a drag of a week. We had a couple of earthquakes along the way. We had all sorts of shit going on.
The earthquakes are always exciting. I've enjoyed every earthquake that I've been a part of because none of them killed me.
Yeah.
The worst one was 94. Oh, Josh. Let me tell you. Do you remember 94, Josh? How old were you? 2? What's this voice? Minnesota accent?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, Josh. Short and big. How about when they go short and big gordy or something like that? What are they doing then? Sure.
I don't know.
I think it's Irish.
It's Irish people speaking in tongues, I think is what you're doing.
Short and big. They always say short and big gordy. You know when you were younger, didn't it seem like most people did just like bad impressions of people from other countries, like top of the morning to you, pip pip. They thought people, did they think people from Britain sounded, or just the people I associated with couldn't care less enough about other people?
I think it was just your block.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but London is a sister city to Minneapolis. No. Wait, you don't even think what you're thinking right now.
What am I thinking?
You're thinking right now, what I'm doing is going to get worse.
No, I'm not there.
And it's not, what's that one character that is the worst? It's the Groucho. Yeah, it's Groucho deconstructing. I think maybe it's deconstructing Groucho, going further than even Groucho. We'll go into it. Well, Groucho did he deconstruct, or he just did lots of jokes?
Just lots of jokes, lots of wordplay.
And sometimes self-aware type of jokes. Maybe. Rains and torrents. I don't know. I thought he had ad-libbed everything.
The most self-aware joke would be I'd never belong to a club that would have me as a member.
And we don't know. Yeah. And I believe, people who say Groucho was not funny in the conversation, I don't believe that. Nobody says that. Are we on?
Yeah. Oh, God, we're on.
Oh, God. But when you have that look, because I feel like you know more about this business, about electronics than I do, but not say considerable amount. No, you do. What if I start making fun of your knowledge of electronics, which I don't know what knowledge you have of it? I know that you're
It's limited. It's limited.
You're Peter Pros. All right. There's no reason to get to that point. Do you ever have I thought your computers save every minute now.
Yeah. Stop.
All right. I'll stop that. Hey, see? That's easier. Just say stop sometimes. Hey, stop. What? No, really?
I actually learned that one from Susan.
Stop.
Andy, stop.
Last night at the club, I had a funny line along the lines of what I would say to you sometimes. As I was leaving last night, Susan said to me, why are you wearing a corduroy shirt? I said, shut up. Something like that. And the club enjoyed it because they thought maybe I really, they thought it was like a Dice Clay type character.
Sure.
For a second. But I wasn't. So that happened to you yesterday. I woke up. I haven't had good day. I have had a terrible amount of days that mean absolutely nothing in terms of real anything.
Well, you did that sentence, so it all worked out.
Okay. Well, let's start off with Friday.
Friday was the day you got plumbed.
And some of the things I talked to you offline.
Yes.
Can't be right.
We got together Saturday to write.
Right. And they were saying that he checked it so clearly that he did 3 colonoscopies.
Really?
That's what someone in the room said. Because my doctor is such a sweet, first of all, excellent surgeon, although I haven't had a lot of colonoscopy people.
Yeah.
But he's great. As I'm pulling in that day we don't need to know where it was. Just remember that there's cedars trees near it.
Bob's Assatorium.
And there would be a place in Israel that sounded like, is Mount Sinai in Israel? Yeah. And we'll be back with no information man. And his sidekick doesn't know that much more guy.
And their special guest, who gives a shit where you went to the hospital?
So I'm pulling up. I say, is that Dr. Ellis? It was Dr. Ellis. Was coming. He was already up. It was 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:15.
Wow.
I'm not supposed to.
And he's doing ass side valet.
No. He was actually he talked like Dennis Miller. He goes, how you doing, babe?
Hey.
And he was walking over to look at some kind of pictures. What do they say when they're looking at pictures? I got to look at some slides.
Yeah. X-rays?
Something like that, but they don't say X-rays.
Right. Images? Images.
Boom. Yeah. That's it. That's why I knew you would be more.
I've got some experience in this.
I think you'd be more capable of writing a hospital procedural.
I'm way better at the banter than you.
Is it a subdural hematoma, doctor? Mr. Weinstein.
Nurse, give me a third thing. Stat.
Nurse, stat. Give me another word besides stat. Nurse. I can't even remember the things they say with bum and release them and cuff them and release them.
Are you doing the paddles?
Paddles. Paddle it.
Clear,
De-paddle it. Clear. That's
clear.
what I'm waiting for.
Again, I'm better with the banter than you.
Clear. Well, and of
He's
course,
the only guy to pick up the paddles and go, are these things on?
I don't know. These seem to be conducting some kind of a shock. Is that safe? I don't like the idea that if your heart stops that you want to start it like so violently again.
I think that's the only way to do it.
But
really.
it sounds like a stupid fucking muscle, in my opinion.
Yeah?
That has to be started.
You really want to shit talk your heart at age 63?
No, I'm coming, Liz. Oh, at age 60. It's 62.
Okay, all right.
So I'm driving there. I see Dr. Ellis walking in, and he goes, I'm so happy because the doctor called me at home. He was very concerned that he missed on the because he said, it's not because he doesn't look carefully,
right.
But there's these flat lesions that people are growing in their colons.
They're all the rage.
They're all the rage. You know, some people in Holland, in the flats in the Hollywood, they have 6 of them.
Legions. Of lesions.
So he goes, I've been worried about you. Now, he did not mean to get me nervous before the thing, but it did get me more nervous.
Okay.
But I go in there.
And where were you, like using the pain scale, where were you on the nervous scale?
Only nervous because of one thing. Well,
I need a number. Where were you going in?
Low.
3?
Low. 3.
Okay. And then you saw the doctor.
No, I'm higher.
Okay.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All of a sudden, the prospect of something happening.
So you went in at, let's say, 5 probably, and then you jumped to an 8 when you saw the doctor waiting for you.
And he's very pleasant. He's very nice. We parked. And then we went in there, and I started to worry about what if this is it is being caused by those fat lesions. What do you need to do to them? How do you treat those? And now, someone like you might be able to have that question in your head. Right. I have to either arrest myself immediately and stop.
Yeah.
Or I'm in serious trouble.
Okay.
So
which did you choose?
I decided to stop.
Okay.
I'm not going to worry about what could happen if it's not going to be good news. And then the other thing was I had this like a TMJ thing, which is now going away.
Right. It's because you were gnashing your teeth in preparation for this test, I'm sure.
And they were asking me, well, they have to use a thing.
I don't know what a thing is.
It's like a thing that goes on
your
top.
Your mime is very bad.
Okay, when you have the endoscopy part, they put a thing that looks like it's like a ball gag, it looks like, but I don't go with those references. Okay. So it's kind of like
with a hole.
It's like a cup. It's like makes your mouth stay open.
Yeah.
And the anesthesiologist says you have to expect that maybe when you wake up it's going to be more painful because we have to open your mouth to get the tube down for the endoscopy.
Sure.
So I was able to
for the crane shot.
All of a sudden, Dr. Kildare was in there. So I was worried about I was worried about the pain in my jaw. Mm-hmm. I was worried about could it be bad if it's not? And I was able to put all of those 2 things away.
Okay.
And so I was able to relatively relax for the procedure, which turned out to be negative, and and everything is good, according to my colon and my endoscopy area.
Nice.
Next, I have to swallow a capsule, and there's a camera in there. And the thing that I didn't understand is that did you know that they put a 3-person crew in when they put a camera in your small intestines? Tiny people. They're very tiny. Tiny cameramen. So I had to swallow a capsule to see what could happen in my small intestine. But I got the feeling from him that he's not worried about anything major now.
Okay, good.
So then it makes me think of, well, what's in the small intestine that could...
Well, I think part of the thing is there's plenty of small intestine. We can always cut some out if we need to.
That's probably it, right?
Probably.
That's what they do.
That's what they did to me.
To you.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, it was a success, except I woke up the next day and we wrote together. And then on Sunday, I felt like I had been shot.
Yeah.
And I started to feel like I had a fever.
How's your iron level holding?
Well, I have to go back to see the Iron Guy on the 17th.
Please call him Iron Man for me.
Iron Man. Don't call him the hematologist. Mm-hmm. And then, so it's really, really good. And you can tell that I have there's no way for me to be happy unless I want to be happy, I guess.
Wow.
Because I came out of it and I immediately we met Saturday.
Yeah.
Luckily you knew because of last year. Don't get your hopes up for this meeting.
No, I was like staving off meltdown at every moment. Not that you got close, but
right.
I was trying to reroute away from any meltdown points.
Right.
I don't mean to be patronizing. That's a little patronizing.
No, it doesn't matter. I'll take it. The only thing that
I was really just trying to get some gut reactions to things so I could go off and write jokes.
Right. So the truth is, if I was not writing the speech with you, you wouldn't know that every year, except for the helping me the last years, you wouldn't know that every year I'm a mess.
No, I did know that. That's why I started helping.
But Susan says I seem to forget it because right now I have never been more out of material that I feel like. I don't feel like I went up enough during the year.
Yeah.
And it's all based on this theory that there's something you can do about the past. And that is the worst thing for me, is I have to be able to say, this is the moment now, schmuck, but not with the schmuck part.
Right.
Because I literally get so frozen that I just walk around the apartment shuffling papers.
Well, here's the thing is, and I think we probably have gone through this before, but as long as we write the jokes and you understand the jokes,
yeah,
you'll be fine because it's a speech. You can read them.
Right.
You don't have to load it all in and have it all.
No, that part is the one part.
We just have to organize it in a way where you can stick to the list, kind of.
Exactly. But when you think of overarching, I thought of a few things. I just, in retrospect, looked back at the year and thought many of the problems I have are not necessarily being solved. Not that they'll ever be solved by the Prozac, and they are being helped by therapy. But like I haven't seen my therapist in 2 weeks, so I'm kind of going like a little. I've never been without therapy since I've started it, so I've been a little bit like out to lunch about it because it's just so annoying to me. It's the same problem all the time. It's annoying to hear it. It's annoying to tell other people. It doesn't help to tell you. I think I was smart enough not to just say at the meeting. I've got nothing. I always have things, but they're not necessarily organized as like what's going on right now that's happening that I would like to talk about. And I think what's happened right now is that I did get detoured by some of my like Twitter crap and stuff and I only say it because I look back at the stuff 3 months later, like when I look at I'll look at all my notes from the tweets.
Right.
And it's just not enough there.
Right.
So I would say my life is worse in some cases because it's been worsened by the availability of all these ways to distract yourself from reality. Whereas I used to think more about, what's happening? But then also the inundation of what's happening makes it harder for me to focus on a theme.
Right. Well, but theme emerges from the work, You can't necessarily pick the theme and then write the stuff. You have to write the stuff and see the theme that emerges sometimes,
Right, but when you said, at one point, I said, whatever it was, I said ID discovery, they're getting crazy with the don't oversell it. What's on ID discovery, it's like it's already gory, you want an orgy of killing, how they oversell it.
Right.
So to me, I actually thought that was an area, but then I guess it just was a joke that didn't work very well. I mean, it might work well.
Well, I mean,
it will work as a joke.
The thing is, I have a sort of overall thought, which is no matter what problems you have or don't have outside of writing shit, all those things can disappear. And if you aren't writing, it's still going to take a while to get your craft together, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
It's not just magically sitting there waiting for you to solve your problems and then you can focus and boom.
True.
So what I feel with you is it's black and white. It's binary. It's like, oh, that doesn't work. So, and I'm like, yeah, but if we took 10 minutes, we might be able to think, but you've already sort of like shut off to my premise wasn't strong, therefore the whole thing is shit.
The only where I thought that happened in the meeting was I didn't want to talk about when it came up to people. I got very defensive because it's like I don't want to go in there. I mean, the one premise we were working on involved a whole list of like 40 people.
Yeah.
So as I was going, it's hard for me to listen to the joke about it if I'm like, I don't want to make fun of that particular person. So I think that's where I got maybe more shut down.
Right. But I'm talking more about stuff that you're pitching, where it's like you'll pitch a joke and my brain immediately goes, okay, how do we fix that and turn it into...
Oh, and I take it like it's just not...
Yeah.
You're telling me it's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's also got to be a byproduct of you, that you know how to work with people because you've worked with people for so long.
That's what I mean. It's just, the muscle comes from me doing it a lot. Obviously, you're funny as hell. It's just a question of the chops of buckling down and going from funny notion to real joke.
Well, it's also it's my fear of your anger or anyone's anger based on my own false conclusions about what I'm seeing in the moment.
Right.
And I only know they're false because I've checked them in a million cases. I mean, sometimes they're right, but they're almost always, if not false, they're exaggerated.
Right. So but but the difference is I'm looking at it as I'm working for you, and you're thinking of it as like you're working for me. My job is to, as far as I see it, is to keep the wheels moving between now and then and churning out stuff, and then we'll have enough shit,
Well, I think I just learned a lot right now because I assumed that it was all because of that I didn't have overarching themes, and I think I went into that conclusion based on my own. If there's any money made in making wrong conclusions or like a reverse Sherlock Holmes or deductive reasoning, I could be the king of deductive reasoning.
Yeah.
I could make a living in it, but it doesn't. But I think it's.
I mean, historically, there aren't themes. There's a big list of jokes is really what this thing is, and
topics maybe. Is topics better? Are there enough topics?
Yeah, we could.
That's what I'm worried
use
about.
More topics.
And I should think about.
Well, and that's where it becomes frustrating. If it's like, I don't want to make a joke about this person. Well, what if we can think of a funny joke that's not that mean, and you're shut off to that possibility.
Well, I was that day.
Yeah. I mean that's where my side of the frustration comes is, okay, if these topics aren't available to even write a good joke that's usable, then that's a problem.
Well, also, you really never got the burger that you wanted that day. Burger. And
I think I shook that off okay.
Yeah, you shook it off fine.
I actually sent it back just to prove to you that you can do that.
That was great. That was great.
Without
also
it being a confrontation.
Well, I knew that, yeah, but it was also great because of the way the guy said, "Oh, that's not right."
Yeah.
But if he hadn't said that was not right, then I shouldn't have drawn the other conclusion. Well, I'll spend the next 20 years not sending things back. So, but the other part of the problem was that all this weekend, finishing this transcript, because I don't have a good ability to work on a lot of different things at once, even though I'd like to. I knew I was getting pressure to get this in. Like, I got a note from the person today. I need the transcript. Come on!
This is the transcript for your stand-up set,
yes.
Not the speech.
Right. So I think that really threw me off. But if I'm going to go with the theory of, we talked about this the other year, I'm not starting 6 months before like I've always said I was going to do, or I'm not doing this kind of a fake thing of what I think real people do. Maybe some people do that.
Right.
But now it's still July 8th, and I have plenty of time if I wasn't in my head. I have plenty of time. I don't have to beat myself up. I actually could work on the material.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're planning to.
I am.
Because I am too, Yeah,
I'm planning on.
You're going off to Acme this week. That's a very useful time.
That's exactly what Susan said. Don't go for a walk.
You can send me info on how stuff is going. You can send me tapes. I can send you jokes, and we'll work through the week.
Don't take the week off, right? And then come back next week.
Right. And
do some sightseeing.
How much you suck. Don't do that.
Everybody, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Me talking about how much I feel bad about myself, I don't talk about it as much as I used to talk about it. Actually, it used to just come out weird. I wouldn't admit to it, like to my wife. I wouldn't admit that I would just try and.
Yeah, I'm sure you were really keeping it under wraps.
Well, you may think that I was able to say things to her, and like I knew I couldn't talk more about it because I really was up against something.
Hey, Andy, why the loud ticking sound?
So anyway, everything's wonderful. Everything is great. But the thing is, the thing about it is that in that moment where I can't figure things out, it feels like hell. And I think it's all based on assumptions. What you think feeling bad is, what you think a normal person would be like. So I just think what I don't do is handle the normal ups and downs like a human being. Because I think that everything is I'm going to end up in jail because of the taxes, or I think I'm going to. So that's where It's just it's ridiculous.
Right. No, you have a real, very deep-seated fear of getting in trouble.
Oh, my God. As you said that.
In whatever context.
Oh, that's all?
Is.
In fact, that's all it is. Like, but that's what's so, what do you call it, narcissistic about it. If I'm just so worried about you being mad at me, and then but now luckily in our friendship, you don't worry, I mean, it's not that you don't worry about it enough, but you tell me the truth, and that's a good part of the relationship. But the thing is, the constant thinking of like, how I'm going to get in trouble, you have nothing to do with. I have to resolve that. It's not based on. I used to think it was. I never used to think everybody's out to get me.
Right.
But I could very quickly go to the first thing to get upset about. Like I could have focused on the email saying get it in, but I know the person who sent it, and we've been friends for years. So
right, the stakes are low.
The stakes are low, but people are allowed to be annoyed at me.
Well, I mean, that's the yang of the yin of butting up against deadlines all the time.
Yes.
Eventually you're going to fuck up and piss people off,
Well, I also think I need to stop making unrealistic promises to begin with. I need to stop it's going to be there by Friday at 3. I mean, I can do some of that, but everyone knows it's not going to be there by Friday at 3. I look back at every year, and I kind of send the transcript the same time every year, but they ask me for it earlier every year.
Yeah. Well, because they've learned.
Yeah, but what the real truth is? Do you think comics are sending in those? They're hoping. They know I'm responsible. Right. I'm one of the few responsible comics. You think Harlan Williams is sending in his set?
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
I think they say Harlan.
Yeah, I've never had to submit a transcript for a set ever. So,
well, the thing is, a lot of people send in tapes of their set.
Yeah,
I don't like to do it that way. I like to.
I understand. I've heard your tapes.
Well, I thought you were going to say, I've heard your Well, you have to admit there's some pressure about getting that all in a row so that it's the tape to send.
Yeah.
That's probably why I started the transcripts, because I wouldn't be on any shows.
I can help you edit, too, if you want.
Yeah.
I think put it together in a linear, take a bunch of sets and chop it up and put it in the order.
Oh, like I never know the order of this. If I can send you the order that I'm doing.
No, I want
you have nothing to do with that. Bruce will do that. He will order it. He orders it pretty good because his mind thinks.
Yeah.
Charles Manson follows this guy. This guy follows that thing.
Yeah, no, I'm good at that too, but I don't want to get into that rat fuck when we already have the speech to do.
I want you to put all this on the back burner, and I want you to know that starting right now, I feel 12% better than I did earlier.
Nice.
And also the fact that I said I couldn't, if I had committed to the movie, I think I might have had a heart attack.
Yojimbo, which we didn't watch.
Which you didn't watch because I just knew.
I knew from when the text came.
You mean how it started?
No, I could see the whole story. I could see the Andy spiral that got us to, he's going to get mad at me if I don't watch this Japanese movie for our free podcast.
Yo, Jimbo. This is free podcast. This is our only podcast. It's not like I'm... Well, I don't have another podcast that I make a lot of money on.
I understand.
The joke was over, so I'm glad I exited out of it.
Okay. But
then I also I don't know about you, but I know we don't want to talk. The political thing to me has gotten worse in my head because I just feel like there's a chance that we're all going to drive. Everyone hates Pelosi now, and
yeah, no,
and nobody. It's like I don't even know what I don't want to defend Pelosi. I don't want to vote for. I mean, I vote for Bernie Sanders, but I'm so disgusted by everything that watching the news has been impossible for me.
Yeah.
For a couple of days.
I think that's okay.
Yeah,
it'll still be there when you get back. You aren't really holding up your end in terms of affecting the events. So,
well, the only thing. And I know we don't talk about it as much, but the only thing is like a couple of people on TV that I like. This guy, Chris Dickey, who lives over in France or whatever.
Which is Chris Bliss's real name, by the way.
Oh. I hope I'm getting that guy's name right. I think I am.
Christopher Dickey, yeah.
And he says that it's like, why are you telling Americans that they're going to lose their private insurance? The whole country was built on some of them having amazing private insurance. To me, it's just like...
I don't want to talk about this. Oh, God, no.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to say anything online about it, but that's what gets me very disgusted, because there's some things that the Democrats do that are political that I think are stupid, and that are other things where it's like Bernie Sanders got everybody excited with Medicare for all, and now we're really going to have this argument that we have to have it this way, and then no one likes Pelosi, and then the whole thing falls apart.
Right.
All right, moving on. I'll tell you one thing. Something is in the news.
I had 3 giant hawks descend on my yard.
I saw a picture. I saw a picture of that.
It was interesting today.
I saw somebody identified it for you.
Yes.
Wow.
And they were bird bathing in my jacuzzi.
May a weird hole.
May a bird of prey descend on your jacuzzi.
A bird of prey did this. Now, when they say a bird of prey,
3 of them. Yeah, it was big.
They're not going to hurt you, right?
No, but they were. They had eyes out for any rats that might be in the hedges or anything.
What do they like to eat?
I've had one swoop down and literally grab a rat out of the hedge and fly away.
To me,
this is a couple of years ago.
This is how it shows you how different species think differently. That would not turn me on at all as a species, to grab a rat out of my...
Oh, God, that's dinner.
Do you don't have a problem thinking as a predator?
No, I have respect for the entire food chain.
Is that gonna get you points with somebody?
I don't care.
You do have respect for but the thing is, when the only thing.
But I don't care, because that's what I realized talking about we had the political discussion last week, and just even the couple of tweets or emails I got about it. It's like, I don't care. I don't want to have a discussion with the world about this.
No, but that's why we get to.
If me talking about my opinion means I have to listen to theirs, it's not worth it to me.
That's true. Well, that's the same thing with Twitter. That's the same thing with Twitter.
I know.
I really don't.
That's why I don't use it for that.
Luckily, hopefully I will learn my lesson as time goes along. And I've learned it, but I've backslid, is that whatever it is, now, you may not want to talk about it on the podcast. That's one thing. But if I do go into Twitter and talk about it, and I don't ignore my mentions, as they say in the biz,
right,
you're going to just be arguing for the rest of your life about these topics.
Right.
So I think it's a good move on your part. But I just wish we weren't going to be... I just wish I could feel less doomed.
Yeah, no, I only express the feelings that have punchlines pretty much on Twitter.
On Twitter, but in real life, though. We were in real life.
I'll have a discussion.
IRL, baby.
But not here.
This isn't real life, though.
No, it's not.
It's a podcast.
Well, where's the line?
That's a good thing, but
we're all just living out loud.
Hey, everybody has a podcast these days.
We're all just brands rubbing up against each other, man.
Oh, did we talk about how Joe Biden sunk last week? We don't want to talk about that more. Come on, he's saying things like, "Hey, man." My theory that he thinks he is black, I think, is going to be proven true one day. He goes, "Hey, man."
I don't think that's a strong theory.
You don't think so?
No.
Hey, man. Doesn't he think he's hip? Is that what he thinks?
I think he thinks he's hip.
Hey, man,
I think he plays in.
I'm Uncle Joe, baby.
He thinks he plays in all time.
He doesn't.
In all time zones.
He's not good.
No.
He I hate to quote Trump, but he didn't get a lot of votes when he ran for president.
Twice.
I think he's going to be out of it soon, and that's the last thing I'll say.
I don't think he'll be out of it soon. We're not even into the primaries yet, but.
Do you think I could
by
take
a long shot?
Do you think I could take a workshop on how to not be hyperbolous, hyperbolic?
Well, if so, that would be the greatest workshop ever created.
I think it would be amazing. I bought the book on procrastination. I'm going to start it tomorrow. I wish I had one more example of those type of jokes.
Too. I really did. Just for the padding. I've been awake basically the last 2 nights with my dog whining, and for some reason my brain has tuned into his whining like a mother of a newborn. The
whining is always from pain?
No, it's not. I don't think. I think it's just from
what's his
I need attention kind of, because when I left this morning the bedroom because I couldn't fucking take it anymore, he stopped. So I think some of it is just manipulating.
You, I think, mentioned that
because I keep attending to him.
You were mentioning he might be like it might be a little baby.
He's a little bit babyish. He's not rugged.
That's amazing. That I thought dogs would not. So if I was a dog, I would probably not be taken. Wouldn't be picked up by people.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be chosen.
Right.
But how about the initial thing? Like, yeah, yes.
He doesn't like the being carried, but
he does not like being carried.
He doesn't. No.
Does he? When you're carried, does he think something could be wrong? Like, I gotta get out.
Well,
not like a cat.
He thinks something could go wrong. He's not in control of his movement, so I understand that the insecurity of it. But like I said, he's not a trooper, but he's so it's extra sad. But on the good side, he's very good at convalescing.
Oh yeah,
like he's still and chill right now because he knows he needs to be.
That's amazing. Yeah, kind of.
He's not jumping around and trying. Larry, my former dog, who also had a long body, he was just kind of like, "I'm good, I'm fine." He tore his ACL, and
Oh, just running around because you would think a species that we'd have to put a cone on to stop it from wouldn't necessarily know to slow down.
No, they're all different. I mean, a lot of dogs try to hide their infirmities.
Man, why do every time I find out that there's personality traits of the dog, I feel like it's the discovery of something like an atom.
There is absolutely personalities to dogs.
Yeah. Well, of course, but that there was that theory about a year ago. They're going, hey, we don't know if they have those personalities you're claiming because you're anthropomorphizing them or something. How could they say that about a dog? When a dog yawns, it's tired. Oh, man.
When you prick me, do I not yelp?
Yes, I did. We did forget to discuss in the movie about how that was Greenberg was excellent. And who played Greenberg? I don't recognize him.
From last week?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
We can't reference last week. It's over.
Oh, yeah. You're so good at referencing past shows.
Everybody is, even Michelle Weiscott, everyone is basically, what if I do have dementia? Well, aren't people going to feel bad? They go, and you probably won't remember it next week. I mean, maybe I have a problem. Maybe it's not that
you clearly have a problem. It just might not have a title.
Well, could be related. I didn't smoke pot today, if that helps.
It does help. It truly helps.
Okay. I'm going to quit smoking pot until I find out where I can get it in Minneapolis.
Okay.
I see the face. Is that what this is about? Is this an intervention?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Hey, plug my album in Minneapolis, will you?
Oh, yeah, because that's your area over there.
Yeah.
People will.
Like when you go on Bernard's show and stuff.
Yeah. If I go on Bernard's show, I guess I will.
Of course, I'll go on Bernard's show.
I'm a lock. Please tell me I'm a lock.
You're a locks. Oh, a lock, I mean.
It's a lot of the local radio they don't have. In the old days, when you go down there, it'd be 8 shows a day, and the road's changed.
You've got podcasts to do. You got radio.
I've got things to do. I've got to work on the speech, and that's all. I also have to have as much pizza.
And I know, because everyone who hosts those podcasts and radio shows is going to to come Sandy going, I'm supposed to be writing a speech instead of
not just
being
them.
present.
That's it. You've defined me every year. Well, you define me as a person because I never want to go. Well, we don't go out after. Did you go after the shows much in Minneapolis?
Yeah, a few nights.
Did you go over to Grumpy's?
Go to Grumpy's? No. Went to the market. Went to.
Is there any place I think you mentioned some place I should check out?
I don't want to. You
this
have
is ridiculous.
You have your thing, and I don't want you to shit on I don't want you to yuck my yum.
Oh, have I been anti your recommendations? I usually respect your.
At times.
Like what? Well,
snotty. I guess is really what you've done.
Well, you're snotty about PK Chang. What is it called? PF Chang's.
Chang's.
I can't eat there since you didn't like it.
Okay, that's good.
What else has been going on? I feel like we just saw each other because we went to eat.
Yeah,
so you're saying there's nothing? So there's nothing like we can start and say, hey fella.
Well, we did Old Jew Medical Corner. We did, did you have any earthquake panic, anxiety?
I never have I didn't have panic. I don't say I never had panic. I was a little scared with the 94 one, but that seemed way more.
This week I'm talking about.
Yes, because it went on so long.
Yeah.
And it seems as if, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm probably also wrong, that this whole idea of foreshocks, they didn't used to have this much information about, or they didn't know that there were foreshocks not that long ago.
Well,
is that right or wrong?
I don't think that's right. I mean, I think if
damn
you have an earthquake and then you have a bigger one, the first one becomes a foreshock.
They weren't always able to. They didn't always know that they were foreshocks. They thought they were.
Well, you don't know until after.
Oh.
That's the point.
I don't know about this. I don't know. How can I trust your knowledge? I have such little knowledge on topics. How can I trust your knowledge? Because you always have the perfect eraser when you talk about something.
Yeah.
At some point you go, I just don't care about it.
All right.
So you have the perfect.
Is that wrong?
No, but it puts you in a position of.
Off-putting?
You do a little bit of like what you do a little bit like my dad did.
Yeah.
Not really. I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, well, a lot of it's in the context of trying to make a podcast that I won't have to edit shit out.
Hello, I am Josh, and I cannot talk today. Hello, could you please call me back? Call me back on Thursday, please. Very involved. I wish I could go on with this bit, but I know it takes a long time to edit.
Oh, is that a bit? I thought it might be an episode.
Oh, my God. Maybe, are people going to tune in for the hostility between us?
No, there's no hostility.
What would you call it?
For me, tired. Very tired.
Oh. So I can take from that, there's nothing I'm doing wrong, Andy.
Yeah.
You're in the pocket.
That's isn't that generally your takeaway? Until you talk to yourself alone?
I know when I'm so high or something, or that I haven't been present. I've known when you could say that there's never screwing up when it comes to podcasts, but I think the listeners would say differently.
I think so. Now that we have a 113 episode template, they know good, they know bad. We've given both.
Hopefully we've given nothing that was so horrible that it didn't bring some joy to their life. I hate the idea, though, of somebody turning off a podcast like I do 12 times a week. I can't take one more second of hearing about, well, it's usually about crime now. I'm beginning to mix up my crime stories.
Really? It might make it more interesting.
Well, I'm getting tired
Andy Kindler's Crime Jumble. There you go. That's your next pitch.
There you go. I like, wow, how did it go tonight in the podcast? I don't know how it went, but I feel a lot better about the future.
Now that I have a pitch.
Now that I have a pitch that Josh is. They said if your neck hurts after surgery, you go to the hospital, or if it's bad. So what does that help a person like me? Oh, I'll wait 5 more minutes.
Your neck or your throat?
No, my neck. My throat didn't hurt. My neck. Nothing has hurt me except the feeling on Sunday, like all my hamstrings were hammed, and I felt terrible.
Yeah.
And then
like some big toxin release or something.
I think it might have been that. Or like Susan says, I do too much too soon. Like maybe I shouldn't have gone for a long walk after the writing session Saturday. I walked back to Best Buy.
Yeah.
And I bought a USB to an HDMI cord. Choo-choo-cha-cha-chee-cha. And then I walked home. And the next morning I woke up, oh God. Then it went away.
That's good.
Moved back with more. Anything exciting happening in the world of sports?
Yes, actually.
I do know that, what?
Free agent frenzies happening.
How'd the Knicks do?
The Knicks got their hat handed.
Wait a second. They were going after some people, and they may go over to the Knicks if they have to.
They went to the Nets instead.
Who?
Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Both? We got none of them?
You got none of them.
The Nets never win anything. The Nets suck. Are they the New Jersey Nets or the Brooklyn?
Nets made the playoffs last year, and the Knicks won 17 games.
I have the same anger I had as a younger fan with half the knowledge. Well, what's the Brooklyn team?
The Nets.
Are you telling me that Chris Christie's favorite team went to Brooklyn and tried to call themselves not the New Jersey Nets? That ain't gonna fly. I'm trying to be like David A. Who's that guy? Stephen A. Who's Smith? So obnoxious? Yeah, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to hear your impression.
Well, he's just... absolutely. He just gets so, him and the other idiot, well, you know what I'm talking about, right? He's the brother of Skip Bayless, his brother, or Skip Bayless. Are they still together?
I don't know.
So you don't even watch him. Here's the thing about Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
Why would you listen to him? He sounds as angry as me, but I think I have more knowledge of comedy, being a comedian who's been in the trenches,
right,
that he does, saying everyone's choking when I think I see him in a basketball court.
But do you provide comedy trade rumors?
Are there any sports guys you like listening to? I used to listen to a little Mike and Mike every once in a while. Is there anybody you turn on?
No, I don't listen to any talk radio shit. Ever.
I never did?
No, never did, except for back when I was on the road in a car.
Oh, just to get to the towns.
Yeah. Just when it was the only thing you could get. But no, it's like I said earlier, I don't care about other people's opinions that much.
That makes you a healthier person, as you know.
I don't know. It makes me maybe not very interesting to talk to. But, obviously when I'm in a conversation, I can bring it.
Well, let me give you an example of it.
I don't want to just fight with random strangers about shit where I don't care about their opinion.
Well, I did a joke last night that I would want to talk to you about. I did the myasthenia gravis joke.
Uh-huh.
And regardless of your feelings about it, because if I only did jokes you liked, I'd only do them. I come off stage, and the guy, I swear to God, this is exactly how the conversation happened. I tweeted about it, but it's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
Guy comes barreling up. I don't know. I thought maybe I knew him. He goes, "What do you have against Lou Gehrig's disease?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You were talking about Lou Gehrig's." I said, "No, I was talking about myasthenia gravis." He goes, "It's the same thing." I said, "No, you're talking about ALS." He goes, "No, man, it's the same thing. I'm not going to kick your ass about it." And that was the last part of the conversation. I see a lot of me in him.
You ran after he said,
no,
I'm
he
not
left.
kick your ass.
Well, no, I was more concerned about him misinterpreting the joke in that moment than I was about him kicking my ass. But I didn't realize that the guy was like just literally someone out of nowhere telling me bullshit, because I could be wrong about a lot of things.
Right.
So I had to look up, is ALS the same as myasthenia gravis?
No,
and it's not.
No.
So this guy was thinking that
it's still weird to do a myasthenia gravis bit.
Okay, well, you told me it's not weird.
I don't think I said it's not weird.
No, I said, is it weird because I know someone, or is it weird just because I don't say who it is and the person's doing well, and many people have it do well. So
right, but it's just a weird topic to bring up. My friend had this weird disease, and then make jokes about it.
It's weird. But why? Why is it weird? He hasn't told me. Do you think I should check with him first?
No, I think it has nothing to do with him.
I think it's a funny joke.
Okay.
That they say that people have I forgot the actual thing. They have a blank expressionless face. And then I say, what are the odds that half the people who have come to my show suffer from myasthenia gravis? And then I extend it out to other, also, looking at your watch compulsively is part of it.
Uh-huh.
And other things. Here's the thing. When you're in the mode of not liking it, I'm not going to convince you. I didn't understand, but I didn't quite get why you didn't like it. I was thinking it would be bad because I wouldn't want someone to think, oh, everyone's talking about so.
No, I think it's weird. I think it's a long way to go for a self-deprecation joke.
All right. I'll think about it. It just touches a lot of buttons. I don't have enough material for nothing. I don't have enough material for my.
Well, again, I work for you, Andy.
No, I'm talking about this is not. That's not for the speech. Or it could be for the speech,
right?
But that's a joke I'm submitting for the TV set.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
so
we've had this before, and you've gone your own way, and it worked out.
That
fine.
was different because you said that you'd heard it before, which you probably had heard it before.
No, I had.
Who does enjoy this cutting banter? I think I do. I secretly love it. Well, that's what got me when he came up to me. That's what got me to feel weird. Was I thought he had talked to you or something? Because he was like, I thought he was saying you can't. See, I thought you're saying you just can't make fun of those kind of diseases at all. And so that's the thing. Is like, I don't like when people gratuitously make fun of like whatever it would be.
Right.
So I'm exploring an area where I would be hoping when I told it to the person who has it, they laughed very much. So I didn't tell them I'm doing it on stage, but it just never would occur to me that someone. The only part that I was worried about was that you shouldn't like talk about diseases, or some diseases you shouldn't talk about. Perhaps. I mean, I wouldn't talk about LS.
I think if you suffered from it, it would be a whole different thing. But to just sort of randomly pick it out so you can make a joke about.
But it happened to me, though.
Symptom.
It happened to me. It's not randomly like I found the guy who had it. When it happened to me, I looked in the book and I saw these things and I came up with funny observations about him. I thought
What
they were
happened
funny.
to you? Someone you know got it.
Yeah. It did happen to someone I know, yeah.
Okay.
Right. Well, how does that work from everything you get as material? I mean, wouldn't that be how you get any joke? Something happened to you, you saw a thing. Right. What's the deal with these Chinese drivers like you used to do? I'm kidding. Are we ready for a break? I didn't bring anything for a break.
No. Did you tape last night?
I did. I think I'd get something out of last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of riotous.
Yeah.
It's at the satellite, though, where the sound is bad. And you might hear the myasthenia gravis joke.
Well, I think we should now.
Okay, let's do it.
Don't you think the audience should now be able to judge?
Well, it's the one thing I can promise you that...
I'm not saying it won't work, first of all. It's a taste issue. It's mostly a taste issue.
I'm less worried about something working than it being insulting in a way that I don't see.
Yeah.
And the only way I could see if it was insulting in a way that I don't see would be if I asked the person who has it if they minded me doing it, and they said that they did mind me, then I'd have to think.
Well, but it has nothing to do with them.
Right, because no one knows who it is. And
right.
It's not like, for example.
That's not my objection. My objection has nothing to do with our friend who had it.
Has it.
See
how much more I care? Right. That's all, but yeah, okay. You just don't think it's that funny. And it's a long way to go for a thing.
It's a long way to go, and I don't care so much about it opening you up to, someone criticizing you like that happened last night.
I mean, for the wrong disease?
Yeah, but right away you're going to put, the justice warriors in the audience going, you're picking on a victim, essentially.
That's true. All those things come up. Or
you're making light of whoever has this thing I've never heard of.
Right.
Because that's people's knee-jerk way.
Yes.
And I'm saying it's, I think if it was
hilarious,
if there was a bigger payoff, or a joke that wasn't similar to other jokes you do already, in terms of things aren't going well,
Well, I guess it was. Well, first of all, that seems to be an unending.
No,
series
that's
of life.
right. But
for me, at least,
right.
I think we've covered this, and I'll tell you something right now. I'm mad at myself. No. Okay, so we'll do that for the break. What else do you want to talk about before the break? Anything?
It doesn't sound like you want to talk about anything.
I would talk about something.
Right.
I was just trying to get out of the topic because I felt like I was beating it into the ground. I understand your point, and so it's just going to be, how much more time do we want to put into me defending the world's most brilliant joke ever written?
Oh, I got another 10 minutes.
Well, what are the odds of, was it Norm Macdonald? What are the odds that Lou Gehrig would get Lou Gehrig's disease?
I know Frank Conniff did a joke like that 25 years ago.
Right. That's a funny joke. But now we get into a different discussion. All right. So I'm willing and ready to talk more before the break. What would you like to do?
I think you and I guess, as well, have made it apparent that we've talked ourselves into a wall and need to take a break, apparently.
Well, that's true.
It's passive-aggressive at this point to go on.
I'll buy that. All right. We're going to take a break. We're going to hear some hilarious...
Now, before we commit to this, you're leaving town tomorrow. Are you going to be able to get me this tape in the next day or two?
I'll be able to get you this tape by the end of tomorrow night, Tuesday night.
Okay.
Is that good?
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'm not going to screw it. Once I had to let it go later because...
I just don't want you to write a check your ass can't cash with what's going on.
Well, I know, because that's true. I have done that before. But then the other thing is, what's the deal with why are people trying to cash their checks with their ass?
We'll be back.
We're the morning zoo. I'm cow, and here's the dynamite boom boom. I think we can all agree now. Look at this. 5 minutes and nothing. I think we can all. You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm going with?
I have an encyclopedic memory. Unfortunately, it's a 1954 World Book. I can tell you everything about the first part of the Korean War. An encyclopedic memory, folks. Oh, we have any more Collier's fans in the house? Where's my Britannica people? Collier's was a low-line encyclopedia. That's what you would. There we go. We have the Britannica convention. Everybody okay? Everybody okay? Oh, what's this guy? He's got his Collier's with him. Boom! Boom! At the Britannica convention. Imagine it. They always hire a comedian. When the new Britannica comes out, this set is no worse nor better than any previous set I've been involved with. Yeah, anybody can move their career up. Anybody can get future work. Anybody can build on a previous thing and take it to another level. But when you have a guy like me, constantly the same kind of whining, year in and year out. The same guy who doesn't learn the lessons. Self-sabotage, learn the lessons. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm not just talking seriously at a thing, at a meeting. That tape of you, Todd, you did the one bit of them. You're supposed to come in with some rock solid. You do your drunk character? Hey, you fucking son, I'm drinking a martini back here. Come on, Todd. One of your characters, bring it out. I think we can all agree now that Charles Manson is not a nice guy when all the dust is cleared. Look, yes, he had good ideas. Yes, the ladies liked him. But Charles Manson, and the only thing you can say that was good about Charles Manson was that he was into Beatles music. He had good taste in music. He thought the Beatles were talking to him. This is what I do during a lot of premises now where people have no idea the topic I'm talking about. Maybe the punchline will have something for me. You know, my father was the son of Sam. Sam Kindler. This joke killed in the 80s before I even got into comedy. That's how, son of Sam. You're upset? Everyone's upset? Sam Kindler. No. He was the son of Sam Kindler. At least I got the details right. I feel a little bad about calling the tip line. I turned my father in. What I'm saying, I don't know, maybe he used to go by Berkowitz. You people can't deal with material about a thing that's so far out of your memory that you have to go see a Spike Lee movie to remind you of what it was. He made a movie about that. He also made a movie called Crooklyn. Folks, if this was a show that was instead of comedy, where you just mention facts as you're going along. But Charles Manson, here's the kicker on the Charles Manson joke. Charles Manson, he thought the Beatles were talking to him through hell. But can you imagine if he'd been into Maroon 5? Come on. How many more people would have died had he been into Maroon 5? They'd scrolled Maroon 5 lyrics in Blood on the Wall. As I try to spice up the joke with gory images. I hate Donald Trump. I know. Sorry, satellite. Sorry, Trump supporters. You're gonna hear it now. My wife. I'll do more right now. Woo, 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 woo. Come on, Tata, my wife. And then the movie with the Bruno. Okay, so I haven't watched anything else he's ever done. Now let's be honest about it, folks. He's not here. He's not going to see me get pissed off. That's it for the Sacha Baron Cohen. Have I finished the joke about Charles Manson? Because it was good. I am doing a remake of Starsky and Hutch. It's called Quinoa and Kale. Quinoa, about two cops who break all the rules except for their strict vegan diet. Huh? Come on. A joke like this leads to risotto and aisles. That's where it lands. You think I want to do a joke like that? You think I'm happy churning out the same crap year after year? You think I'd like to say, who died and made Jim Belushi a big star? You think I'm happy? Keeping that joke past where nobody remembers either Jim Belushi or John Belushi, of which the original joke was based on. Imagine walking a mile in my shoes, lazy shoes, where I take a lot of naps during the day, and then I get in the phone. I call my manager at 3 o'clock every day. What's happening? Carrot Top made 2 movies. Do I have to do anything to get my career going? Flash viral! Thank you very much.
All right, well, we're back. I assume that was hilarious. I'll find out soon.
I can't believe that was the greatest break we've ever taken.
I take it back. That myasthenia gravis joke, it's a keeper, friend.
I can't believe you said that.
I apologize.
You know what? I fired my writer who wrote that for me.
Okay.
And that was...
Who, Hitler?
Years from now, when people are going to...
And speaking of comedy, my album, Chunks, is now on sale.
Now you sound like a Nazi. Yeah, you sound like a communist.
There you go.
What are you, a communist?
We're a pair.
One guy talks a lot. The other guy doesn't. Well, you don't talk that much. One guy talks. The other guy doesn't listen much.
I'm going to try to be less snippy in this hour of the show.
Well, I think that I'm going to...
Are you having a stroke?
No, but...
That's not snippiness. I'm really concerned. What are you doing?
I would say periodically. I wouldn't say once a day, but once every couple of times a week, it feels like there's a thing in my eye. And then it turns out to be nothing.
All right.
So, if there is a thing in my eye and it doesn't stop, it's going to make the second half of the show, you don't want me just like, what? Andy, can you say what was happening?
Do we need to take an eye break?
No, because I think it went away. Hey, now we're back.
All right.
And this was brought to you by Bausch & Lomb's eye particle remover. Wet and dry. Wet and dry.
I like the dry.
I enjoy the wet. I take it for the wet. Are you disappointed by the amount? It seems like a disappearance of name brand products at CVS. This isn't a commercial for CVS.
No, clearly.
I'm just saying
you're
everything.
Starting with disappointment.
Yeah, everything's a CVS. What is it with the? I like to go into a place and they got all of my favorite brand names, which I won't buy.
Right.
And then the generic. But now I've heard generics not always necessarily good. And I'll be back.
I have this feeling like the name, when it comes to like over-the-counter meds, things that require R&D on a big level, I always will go with the name brand because I feel like they have the budget for that R&D to make it, give it that extra little, the Tylenol, as opposed to the CVS,
Well, I've certainly heard doctors and I've certainly heard patients say that they can, depending on what the thing is, they can definitely feel the difference with the generic.
Yeah. Yeah, it does depend on the thing, I think, but...
I don't always buy a Bayer aspirin. I don't always buy a Scriptin.
Wow.
I can't think of references tonight. But if I did, would it be better? Maybe it's good to...
that could have been a good run.
Well...
You with pharmaceuticals? Come on.
Hey...
Historically.
Ben Gay... I like
yes. See? That's what the 70s. That would have been the 70s. We should
make a fake 70s show where we blithely do those things and we don't, because I love the way, I don't love it.
I think it's the perfect time for that because nothing works better these days than a blend of homophobia and irony.
Ooh, I laughed like it was fake, but I enjoyed it. No. So maybe I should just, accept it. Yeah. I'm a great laugher.
Right. Don't take it away from me.
Right. You know what I like about that shirt, and I don't know why I like it? It's got a zippered pocket. It could even be a dickie, a fake zippered pocket.
A dickie, you think?
Isn't a dickie like something that's a
dickie's like a fake turtleneck.
Yes.
That cuts off right below the button line.
That can't be. If that's something they invested money with,
there's only in terms of like embarrassing menswear, only sock garters, I think will.
Oh my God, are sock garters what I think they are?
Yeah.
But where is this when men wore garters?
Old timey menswear, pre-elastic days.
Okay. And first of all, I know if I get into this discussion in about 3 minutes, you sound like a white power guy because you don't know that you're talking. There are trans people dress. In the old days, you could make a certain amount of jokes if a man wore a garter. But you're saying regardless.
It was right around the calf. The sock garter. Back me up, people. Phone in on the line. Call in right now. Back me up on your sock garter stories. Come on.
1-800-SOCK. Imagine if we were. I think this is why a lot of DJs do kill themselves. We're not DJs. But
Right.
could you imagine if every
And we're
day,
hardly killing ourselves.
But if every day you had one of those shows with the 65 degrees is 5 hours of the hour is Dennis Miller in the 60s.
Good day to taste metal in your mouth, people. Should we go to questions?
I think we should have questions unless we want to do our bit about the Self-Righteous Brothers. I just came up with that. Well, I've had the name before. Yeah, right. Well, how would you know? You haven't suffered like me. Maybe I'll do more work on. I'll go back to my space class.
You should do something that pays off the premise. The Self-Righteous Brothers, perhaps.
You'll never close your eyes. Send that one off to somebody who can change the lyrics.
You've lost that correct feeling.
We should do a show just for us and not for the fans.
We are
one day
we're currently in hour 2.
Oh, my God. Do people ever say, hey, it definitely is long enough?
I think a lot of people go 2 Jews, 2 mics, 1 hour? That would work.
Everything's in the inflection. I noticed.
Let's go down question row. Starting at Jim Meehan Boulevard.
Hello, Jim.
Jim Meehan says, Andy, you said you got a DM from Josh Mankiewicz about being a guest on the podcast, and you didn't express any anxiety that you were a murder suspect. The therapy must be working.
Oh, my God. That's so true that you said that. And I could absolutely envisage or imagine being with him and somehow getting into that. Because when you do my version of OCD, and many people with the oversharing and the overcompensating, you've seen it every week. Where I go too far, where it's like, if I was a normal person, I wouldn't be trying to convince you of the basic fact that I didn't kill anybody.
No, you would be the worst interrogation suspect in history, I think.
Oh, my God. And if I agreed to talk to Dateline? What if I agreed to talk to Dateline?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Of course,
while you're talking to the police. Dana Schwartz says, I know I've missed a few newsletters, but is the fact that I wish I was bitter is on Amazon Prime a new thing? I had hesitated to get a copy since it seemed like people would have to go to a lot of trouble. Of course, I recommend it.
Oh, I think if it's on that, I'm very excited. I didn't realize I was branching out.
There you go.
Who did I not make that deal with? Wait a second.
Wasn't that County Dynamics?
Oh, no.
No.
Yes, I did make a deal with. Did they agree to put it out somewhere? Oh, God, I have no memory of anything. I have no memory of. And I only
doesn't matter. It's County Dynamics. You won't get any money from it.
Hey, do you think it's time yet for me to release the album, or you think wait a little? Because your advice last time was wait a little longer, see how the market is. Maybe they won't like jokes about Obama's secretary.
Yeah, I mean, my advice was just wait till it comes around again.
Comedy or my act, or both.
Both.
Rhythm. I like that shirt also as a shirt, not just for the pocket.
Why? Thank you. Larry Morrissey says, was young Andy referring to himself when he sang about the New York man with the Malibu tan in his song The Califormula? Can't wait to hear the original recording.
I'm glad I hate when they do this in the news because, great question. But that actually is a great question because it was written as my impression of some idiot who moved out here from New York. But the thing is, it's such an...
You're every idiot that moved out here from New York.
Yeah, that's one problem, and it may have been the problem with my songwriting. No, but I do think not to sound like someone who's like known for have written all these things and talks about them. I was in a way, I am I do feel that I am a schlub sometimes. So I kind of would see myself as a schlub, but I definitely was writing it about people I didn't like.
Gotcha.
Who just came out. But then I think I'm writing about something that was fictional too. Was the New York man really coming out here trying to become a Californian? I don't know, Josh. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to
It was more of a
wink.
No. Don't finish my sentences.
I did that as an example of what I do all the time.
It was more of a shotgun approach than a sniper rifle.
Yes. Another example of you said something brilliant, and also what if you let people think. I've said this a lot. I haven't put it into practice. If you let people think of what they want to say, it's usually more satisfying than what you were going to throw in there, right?
It can be. I mean, once in a while, you might gem it up, but
not in the most part. Am I, Hanjo? Did you know what I was doing there?
No.
I was in a complete sentence, but as if it was brilliant.
But what?
I can't. But what can I say when I'm liquefied? All right, take this part out. I don't mean just take it out.
Not going to.
I don't mean to, because I think I had a pinch of an '80s guy doing a black voice. Well,
you're going back.
Now I'm doing it. If you go back for it, it proves.
Are you going to do a Zappa record?
No. Oh, well, Zappa did "You Are What You Is." No, but I was more thinking about Rickles and the black man's going, "Oh man, river." He had the really out of date, and Robin Williams had a little out of date black man.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I don't think that black man ever existed, but he certainly wouldn't exist today if you tried to bring him out again. And the black guy's going, "Hey, motherfucker." How much of this is he going to cut out?
Oh, none. Yeah,
I know, but I got high during the break. What? So I don't know if I'm coming off as like a race guy, like a Stormfront dude, or a guy. I don't know if I'm a white nationalist or making fun of by acting like one.
You're coming off as both woke and asleep. Chris Olsen.
Hi, Chris.
In Osaka.
No, Osaka. May a weird holy man take your Osaka to the cleaners.
For those of you wondering, it was a Lowell smoke joint that Andy and I
love the way that tasted, too. And they don't always... Do you notice that sometimes...
Lowell smoke when your first hour isn't going that well. Lowell smoke.
Hey, you have an unpopular podcast that you're trying to pump life into? See, I always go for the self-deprecating thing. And that hence why I have destroyed my career.
Tweet Bahara. Oh, let's go with Chris Olsen. Chris in Osaka's question, which was, hey guys, hoping that you picked up any broken glass caused by the earthquake. Potato salad question. Way to switch gears, Chris.
Oh my God.
Spicy mustard or mayo? Thanks again for helping me through my
Is that a trick question? I think it's a trick question. You know why?
I think he was trying to backdoor some spicy into the question for sure.
Yes, because what he's saying, look, having not realized that, I'll just say something. I don't like mustard in a lot of things, and do you know why? I often worry that it could be a little too, Adam Sandler, a little too spicy, Sandler.
See, what I love is that this bit is an impression of you, so all you have to do is you.
Oh, yeah, no, the impression, au contraire, the impression is yours.
It's an impression of you.
Which I don't do as well as you do.
Right, but I'm just doing you being you.
I was wondering, but I don't really say, excuse me.
No, but that's your impression that you're doing. You're doing an impression of an impression, when the real impression is it spicy? It's very hot.
But that's like I'm already crying.
The jambalaya, is it spicy?
Well,
it's just regular jambalaya. It's just well, you know.
Is it like the A2
Well, it's just regular jambalaya. It's just, you know, there might be a little kick to it, but it's not going to burn your mouth or anything unless, you know, you're a little bit of a Yankee pansy.
I think we could, in danger of being shut down, even though we're on those pirate radio.
Really?
stations.
You think that my Cajun guy is going to offend a lot of listeners?
Cajun guy. No, your Cajun
just
guy.
Regular jambalaya is just regular.
Your Cajun guy is just accurate.
You should try the etouffees. Well, that's all.
You know what? The A2 phase are so good, you're going to have 3. You're going to have a 3 phase. And we'll be back with more Cajun funny.
Well, we don't allow that kind of wordplay in here, sir.
You sound a little bit. It's a little bit like I say.
It's a little foghorn leghorn. Yeah, it is.
I wish I really knew who these references were, because I know people say foghorn. I say. That's him, right?
I say boy. I say son.
And then the other one, Mr. Haney. Look, Mister. I hate when I lose.
I hate when Mr. Haney talks to himself in the third person like that.
It's almost like the person has died for me. You can't hear the voice at all. Easter, because he was a charlatan. That guy.
Yeah.
Don't think any of this needs to be cut out.
I don't.
All of it does.
It's all evidence. Tweet Pahara says.
Tweet. Twiddly deedle deet deet. He's a horror. No, he's Tweet Pahara.
Okay.
A little bit negative? A negative yes?
No, just really stoned. You're very stoned.
That's your fault. You said try this.
It is my fault. It is my fault.
I feel better than I felt the first hour. I'm telling you that right now. I don't care. Does everything have to be how it sounds to the people?
Not so much.
Can't I be an example of one guy who's funnier when he's high? Hey, you gotta hear Kindler when he's high, man. Whoa. Well, what is he like? Unfocused. Hit and miss.
He's like that scene in Fame where the kid has the meltdown at Catch.
I want to see that movie again. Is it the movie or the play?
The movie. I don't think there was a play.
That's what I was testing you. You know what?
That movie is weird. I think it's good.
I think it was okay. It was good.
I mean, I watched it a lot when I was a kid because of the whole cable thing. But it's a very gritty musical.
I don't think I've watched it enough to be sensitive to what was gritty about it. I may have thought in retrospect.
It's super gritty.
Like
70s New York gritty.
With weird sex and things? I always go to weird sex.
Yes.
And what do I mean by weird sex?
If it'll get you on board, yes, there's weird sex.
Okay, look, I don't know how much more.
4 words. Arch your back, Coco.
I don't know how much more forward. I don't know how much further I can go with the guy who doesn't know anything character I'm doing.
All the way to Montreal, baby.
To the top. Hey, you can't blow this. Hey, Kindler, you can't blow this.
So by the way, it's potato salad. You need both mustard and mayo.
Oh my God! All of a sudden, Blowhardy went to the beach.
It's eat hearty, is what I am.
What are you talking about? There's mustard. Okay. Oh, you're saying every good potato salad has a little mustard, and has mayo, even if it's not a mustard-based potato salad.
The mustardy potato salad you're thinking of has mayo as well. Is my point.
The only salad,
a German potato salad doesn't.
And I used to love, when I was a kid, we had a place in Queens, and I was in love with the German potato salad.
Right.
And I know it had
you could make Hitler jokes while you ate it.
And later I made Hitler jokes to the Holocaust survivors in the neighborhood. And that's how it started. No, but it had vinegar. It's like, I used to love that. There was no mayo in it.
Yeah.
But do you like that still?
I never liked any potato salad. I'm not a big fan of the cold potato.
Oh my God. Even the mustard ones.
Right.
Based ones. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's not get crazy.
Tweet Pahara also asks, you guys are opening this weekend at a local dinner theater doing The Odd Couple. Who's Oscar? Who's Felix? Josh Mankiewicz is playing Murray the cop. I think clearly I'm Oscar.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that leads me to be Felix.
Right. I thought it was a nicer way of saying.
What?
It was nicer of me to say clearly I'm Oscar than going, well, you're definitely Felix.
Oh, why would that? I was born to play Felix.
In some ways, that's true.
I love that. I love that. That's
Except
a show.
for Felix is entertaining.
I miss that Tony Randall. I think Tony Randall brought his own character to it, but oh Jesus, why did Blowhardy decide to enter here? What does he have invested in this conversation? It's not so much Blowhardy as I've lost.
But when you say Felix.
I say
Tony Randall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we both prefer The Odd Couple, the series, over The Odd Couple, the movie, right? I do.
The play is strong, but
The play
and the movie are basically the same thing.
Yeah, but the series really worked on the characters of and the writing but Oscar and Felix played by Klugman and
Right.
it was a great. I could watch that. They should play that more. I think they do sometimes, but
I think of Jack Klugman, and yet my impression of Oscar will always be, no, it's garbage.
oh well, nobody's better than
Matthau.
Yeah, Walter Matthau. He really. I wish I could have hung out with him.
I wish you could have too. Oh, the stories you'd botch. Adam Nikolic says, CPAP update? I took the at-home sleep test and have been diagnosed with apnea. Currently waiting on my machine. Tips and tricks?
Well, I'll tell you.
There you go. Breathe, Hardy. Go for it.
All right, breathe, Hardy. Basically, depending on the kind that you're using, I have to use the mouth and nose thing as opposed to just the nose thing. It really is making sure you keep the stuff that has to be changed, like those the silicone pillows and like parts of that will go after a month. It'll start to wear through so that it will leak in. And then also, as much as it's changed my life and it has to be done actually for someone like me, I'm a strong believer in it. A lot of times I'm frustrated with it, and I think I'm mostly frustrated when I don't follow up as much on making sure everything's new on it, like a strap and that thing. So keep the, and also
so you have sort of a hobbyist approach. It sounds like.
I do recommend. Although I had a discussion with my sister, and she's like, they don't even know if it works, but the So Clean machine.
Yeah.
Because before I had that machine, I would obsessively, compulsively clean everything.
Yeah, no, that seems like...
Not the way to go.
No, it seems like probably overkill, but probably perfect for the person who's worrying about their bacteria. It gives you this very proactive thing to do each day.
Right. I hope you one day have to deal with what I'm dealing with, which is nothing really bad.
No.
Sometimes I wish it was...
I'd be terrified of sleeping with a CPAP machine, quite honestly.
You don't even want to know if you should have one.
No, I really don't.
The one thing sometimes I wish it was more air-conditioned in my nose, but it's actually not as good for it.
There is no possible way I can imagine being able to sleep with one of those on.
What if you had a hot bath?
Sorry, Adam Nikolic.
Adam, don't listen to him.
No, don't.
You have to use it, and I don't think you're going to hate it at all.
No.
And it's sparked up. It's spruced up my sex life. Just take that out, or don't.
That's what she said. On my wedding night. Mark Thompson says, does Blowhardy have earthquake advice?
Well, actually, Josh thinks that he was right. But actually, since we had that little disagreement earlier in the show, I've done an extensive amount of research, and my comment about the foreshocks was uninformed. But the only part of this current thing that's untrue is I didn't check anything. I just have doubts.
All right, good. I feel like if I can plant doubts...
Well, that's one thing you can do.
I'm Johnny Doubtseed.
All right, I think... it took me a while to get the Johnny Appleseed connection.
Okay.
Not too bright.
Welcome aboard.
I like welcome aboard.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yo, Yoshi. That's 4 people singing Yoshi, 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 Yoshi. And they're all slightly out of tune like I did.
I watched some of the Music Man the other day, which has Barbershop Quartet in it, which is the on-ramp that you just gave me mentally. And I still have a real affinity for that movie.
That movie's great. I mean, I haven't seen it. I remember loving it as a kid. I'll have to see it again.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I haven't. It's like one of these things, like, I know it's not going to be like Oklahoma. I know I'm going to love it.
I don't know that you'll love it, and it is kind of like Oklahoma.
Well, maybe Oklahoma's better.
But I like the Music Man, and I don't like Oklahoma.
Right. But now they have a new version. They have a new version of like 14 things now that I just don't understand a lot of it.
They're rebooting Look Who's Talking, I just saw.
Is that the Bruce Willis movie?
Not anymore. Now it's going to be the Kevin Hart movie or whatever.
Oh, look, I can't
have no
take.
idea.
Look, God
But
bless.
I think it's time that, we re-examine babies through a new, more woke perspective.
I'm ready.
Yoshi Yamamoto also sent a really long screed about Medicare for All and trying to set you straight. He sent
You can read it.
No, I'm not reading it.
How come you're not reading it?
Because I don't want to read Yoshi
You don't want
Yamamoto's
to-
long
you don't want to-
screed about explaining Medicare for All to you.
Well, just forward it to me.
I will.
Yoshi Yamamoto. Yoshi Yamamoto feels emotional about healthcare.
Let me just make it short, just to boil
Just
it
to
down,
put a
just to
button
boil it
on
down
it.
for you. You're wrong.
Oh,
Okay.
You know what? I suspected it might be.
All right. Terry Caulfield says, I'm watching the Movies series on CNN that premiered last night.
Oh.
It's about movies of the 80s. Did either of you catch it? I did actually watch it last night. And I know how Andy loves these type of shows. I hate those type of shows, but I have to say, it made me go, there was a fuck ton of really good movies in the 80s.
I'm open. I'm not open to anything because I'm not open to anything because the actual network depresses me now.
Yeah.
And when I turn it on, I don't want to be reminded of terrible decades. But if you say it's good, I'm willing to admit that it was good. But I still don't think we're going to watch it. I also didn't enjoy having to see Don Lemon and all the various CNN personalities dressed up like characters from movies. I would say I hate all of that.
Okay. I would say that's fair.
I don't hate it. What's
But
the
it's
matter?
not like it's a good doc. It's just, it's the same as the other ones. Very easy to watch the first time through.
Right.
More annoying when you see it the 19th time. And but
Can't
it's
do too
a
many of
little
these.
sampler. And
Right.
and if I was 20,
Right.
not that there's 20-year-olds watching CNN, but
You
it
might.
would be a nice little roadmap of shit to go watch.
Right. The other thing is when I'm watching anything in the decades, all of a sudden, movies, whatever, there's something I dread about the decade was 2001 or whatever, and so all I can think of is, because when are they going to do that horrible? Are they going to have to deal with that horrible thing? And then you have to relive that horrible thing again.
Yeah.
I don't think you should ever have to relive.
I don't relive it. That's I guess that's the
Oh,
difference.
because you don't have any real feelings?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it boils down to. Is I'm a hollow man.
If there's but I'm sure there's some things that remind you of things. Well, I don't know. Like, isn't it too much sometimes to watch some things? Like, I don't want to be reminded of that again for whatever reason.
I never look at it like that, I guess. But I mean, there's stuff where I go, well, I don't want to see this. But it's usually like torture porn kind of, that sort of thing. But I don't ever feel like emotionally fragile about anything. I mean, there's probably something, but I don't ever go, it'll make me think of something.
Well, I've also never watched certain things on the internet. I've never seen a beheading, or I don't watch those things. So I'm afraid.
Like when something like that, if I see it, it's not gonna fuck me up.
Right.
But I don't seek it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never. I'm not. I have a real thing of those sort of here, smell this kind of things.
Yeah,
where you
like,
go, no, I get it. It's bad. I got it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
80 Morgan says, at this, quote, later stage of my life, I find I'm good at carving creepy wooden fingers. Have you discovered talents hitherto hidden as time goes by? Also, I have many wooden fingers for sale.
I think that's all I could think of was that.
You should go into business with Jackie Mason and open a boutique. A finger for you?
Finger for you?
A finger for you? A finger for you?
I thought as soon as you said that you do have fingers, I noticed my own Hebrideans nodes.
See, now that's a funny disease.
You know what? All I'm thinking, I'll tell you something. There's part of me, it's like, you only have, I don't even think you have 2 minutes. And now he's getting rid of your big myasthenia gravis chunk. Years from now, it's maybe hours from now, it'll be meaningless to me, I hope. Everything I'm doing. No, but that does sound interesting to me. Oh, yes. I've had like painting and things like that I've picked up later in life and things.
Yeah.
But I knew that a while ago that I liked painting and drawing.
Right.
Nothing.
How much do you do it now?
Not enough, but I do it more than I used to lie about playing guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. Not enough.
I think I know that pocket.
Yeah, you know how that feels.
Dan Wade says, "Hey guys, growing up down south, I didn't have much exposure to Judaism except by reading, especially Portnoy, Chaim Potik, Moshe Waldach's anthologies, which I've never read.
I haven't heard of them.
Did you ever read any of Moshe's collections, such as the Big Book of Jewish Humor? I did read the Big Book of Jewish Humor. That was a bar mitzvah gift of mine.
Oh, it's a compilation of jokes?
So yes, I spent a great deal of time with the Big Book of Jewish
good?
Humor.
It must be good.
Yeah, I mean, it really is.
Why am I evaluating? Why don't you just stop judging everything? Did you enjoy it? How good was it? Was it as good as the Big Book of Italian war heroes?
It was, it's one of those. I liked books like that as a kid because I was trying to get up to speed and everything.
I read.
I also interviewed Isaac Bashevis Singer when I was in 8th grade, I think, or 9th grade.
That's pretty amazing.
About 400 people at the Walker Art Center.
And you got to interview him, or everyone got to interview him?
I got to interview him on stage in front of the audience with another girl.
That's great. I wish I could say I know his writing, but he's a great writer.
He is a Nobel Prize winning Yiddish writer who wrote probably most excessively Yentl. The story Yentl was based around. But he wrote the Golem. He wrote a lot of shit.
I did read, I think I read Portnoy's Complaint, and I love the movie Goodbye Columbus. So I kind of know, I think I would love all of Philip Roth, or a lot of Philip Roth, but I can't say maybe I read Portnoy's Complaint.
Yeah.
It was.
I never have read Portnoy's Complaint, but
I think it was great.
I've read
at the time.
I've read a few Philip Roth. I've read Human Stain. I've read like more later stuff than early stuff, actually, which is probably not the best way to go into Philip Roth. But
is the one of the later ones where he does an alternate future?
Yeah, he had a Nazi book.
Yeah,
I didn't read that one.
He's sad. I feel sad in a way that I can't even lie about how much I've read, and then I feel like I haven't read enough. It's all useless. Like, if I want to read these people...
I'm underread. I'm highly underread. But I'm also have enough surface information about a lot of things that I can, I can either fake my way through a conversation without ever having to admit I didn't read it. But Rubber Meets the Road, I will now admit that I don't read things. I haven't read stuff.
It's also a change.
Something as a younger man I wouldn't have done.
The history, as the history goes along, I'm not saying like, in 100 years, we're not going to talk about the Iliad, but I think the way you talk about the past probably always changes. And now with so much, people can watch so many things, it's going to be hard. I don't know what I'm saying. I wish I had a better grasp of everything.
But you can't. You have to just sort of pick your lane and go with them. You really can't, we don't have a common language to go to anymore like we did in the 70s, and even baby boomers and Gen Xers still had the same source material basically,
right?
But is now so diverse and so all over the place that
massive.
There isn't anything that is culturally pandemic. Everything is. I've seen this. I haven't seen this. I've seen this. I haven't seen this. And I'm not going to watch this, and so we're never going to talk about it, and I'm never going to get your reference.
That's true. That's true. I don't know how I feel about any of that. I mean, it's just changing.
I tend to want to not romanticize pop culture knowledge, even though I hold a whole bunch of it. We were kind of talking about this last week about, this need to prop things up for getting mad at kids who haven't heard Beatles music when it's 50 fucking years old.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. It's and it's not important enough to. I can't say that I Dream of Jeannie is more important than BoJack Horseman.
That's true.
The reason we watched all those shows is because we didn't have a huge wealth of unseen things to watch. We had 3 channels feeding us what they were going to feed us, and we decided yes or no, and that was it.
Right.
And I always decided yes to something. So as a result, I saw a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But if I would have had choices, instead of watching every episode of MASH 6 times or, seeing every Cheers or seeing it,
every day of my life.
It's like, would I have been better off seeing a bunch of different shit, but not having the same reference base as every Gilligan's Island episode? I think they're probably better off now.
Well, I also think there's a natural thing about where, like, some of the people I love, like Alan Watts and other philosophers, are people who, I wish I could be like Alan Watts. Oh, different.
Who's that? David Watts. It's a Kinks song.
Oh.
I wish I could be like. I wish I could be like.
I didn't know they did it. That's how I'm unfamiliar with things I am. But I love the people had he had such a great grasp of like everything in a way. And some people do. It makes me then feel like, oh, I have to. There's a part of me that always wants to get down on myself. Oh, you should have, but it's kind of like nonsense. It's like I'm sorry. There's no moment like.
I thought you had a really good idea.
There's no moment. There's no. You can decide to get involved with anything, but the idea of thinking, how did I not see this? Why didn't I see all of these movies?
Yeah.
Godard movies. There is a part of me that does feel like I took too much nitrous in college, or watched too many One Life to Lives. But I'm not that. But I'm not that kind of person.
FOMO is a sucker's disease.
It is, because it doesn't even real. It's not like Alan Watts walked around saying, "Oh." Well, some people did.
Oh, damn! I wanted to hear your Alan Watts.
Darkness is just the opposite of lightness. I can't do them because I like them. So,
Hiant says, "In our future civil war, what will be each of your battle tactics? Hand-to-hand combat, firepower, a third thing?
Like what's? Is there going to be a civil war?
Yeah, in the premise of Hiant's question, we're going to go. Imagine yourself."
I think that the power of love would be the way I would go.
I think that's, for you, as good as a hatchet.
I think you like the sound of the word
Me,
hatchet.
I'd like a sidearm.
You know why? I can't imagine you without a sidearm. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed people who aren't following the podcast to the degree that you're sitting in this house watching us do it?
Yeah.
Will not notice that I do slightly more nonverbal signals. They don't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah.
But like that. I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying there's more of them. To me, that's like slowing time. I just want to make sure that
great idea.
I just want to make my. Okay. I just make sure there's no problems. And that's my first thing is what happened, what burned down, what do I have to do?
Right.
As if I could help if there was a problem.
All right. But really, it's get milk.
No, she made guacamole.
Oh, I prefer rockamole.
Rock and roll auto parts.
It's a rockamole weekend here on Cinco de Mayo. Tom the Tom says, "What's your technique for getting out of an emotional funk?"
Oh man, I had one.
And he's in year 62 of his emotional funk.
Oh, what does he say? Somebody says.
He's doing Karnak.
But that's not what Karnak says, right?
No.
But doesn't someone say? Confucius say? I didn't feel like I was ever going to leave the one today. For me, it's just being able to stop my mind in some way from overloading and going. But sometimes I can't stop it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, like podcasts, I'll love to listen to podcasts. And then if I'm really in a confused state, then I can also walk around like a chicken. Which one am I listening to? Am I listening to Town Without a Pity? This Guy Died? Which one? Those I made up, but they weren't good. Town Without Pity, This Guy Died.
Yeah.
So then nothing seems like it can work sometimes. And then the other thing is I don't go into long funks that much. How about you? What do you?
I don't go into long funks. My ADD helps me get out of a lot of funks. It takes a great deal of commitment for me to stay angry on a topic all day, or or focused in any way really on a topic all day without other shit starting to creep in. So I think I mostly forget my way out of bad moods a lot. I find also with me, if I'm like really angry and holding on to it in a pissy way, I tend to be hungry.
Right.
It's like, all right, maybe you need to eat or something because I think we were talking last week. Anger is like, it's really toxic to me.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get any nutrition from it the way some do. I don't feed on it. I get drained from it very quickly.
I don't think I ever got I don't think I ever felt like, oh, good, I'm going to get angry. But I think I used to go there more thinking like that was the only reaction, but I would always feel bad afterwards. But also, if you're like in a long funk, that can also be depression too.
Yeah.
Like I don't have depression, but I have anxiety. I have constant anxiety.
Right.
So
that doesn't depress you?
Oh, thank you, Josh. Well, I hope that. But I do. The other thing I was going to say was I do feel cycles. Like I think there are cycles of where you feel funky and things are funky that if you could learn to just accept them. I'm not saying I can.
Right.
It's like I think one of the things I overvalue about or over want out of therapy is that I'm going to get better,
right?
And that the getting better becomes not a good goal.
No, there's it's easy to, like we were talking about earlier, to sort of have this magical promised land in your head where everything's going to suddenly be easy.
That's true, and that's why I can sometimes, like when we're talking about political things,
like it's not easy for anybody,
right?
No matter what your level of emotional health is, this shit ain't easy for anyone. I don't think, and I think that's what we're learning in this age of emotional openness. Is that everyone is relating to everyone, Oh, yeah, and you cannot not see everything. Right. And I think there's I've always been someone who doesn't, like Allison, my wife, is someone who takes great comfort in her problems being universal. Right. And I'm like completely the opposite. What do you mean? Like, give me an example of what... Like, I don't feel better, like, if someone else feels the same way I'm feeling. I don't take comfort from that because it must be like an arrogance in my head going, yeah, it might be the same thing, but I'm processing it differently than you. Or I'm feeling it different, There's an arrogance I think I have to the... It's like a group expression. Yeah, I hate being a part of a group, and that extends to emotionally, I guess. Right. Like, or you're just skeptical of it, maybe. Yeah. I feel it's not a real feeling for me, that belonging, that comfort of numbers doesn't exist for me, I guess. Do you think that part of that is something that you're resisting, or you think part of it's all a good natural way to be? No, I'm sure. I'm not saying it as it being a virtue of mine. I think I'm just sort of defining it. I'm not, yeah, no, I don't think of it as a particularly good quality of mine, I would like to be someone who likes joining in because I think it's a generous, yeah. It's a spiritual way to be that's more open, and I'd like to be that, but I have a governor when it comes to giving over to the group. Yeah. I think that also could serve you well, too. Scientology. Yeah, you think? That's the way to go? I thought it was stand-up comedy was the answer. No, it's just like a cult stand-up comedy. Steve minus 54 says, Josh, any idea what happened to the silver KTMA Tom Servo puppet? No, I don't have any idea what happened to it. I'm sure it was...
Is that a known mystery about it?
I don't think it's like a mystery that people talk about.
But someone stole it?
No, the puppet changed from the local show to the national show.
Oh, and we don't know where the original puppet is.
So it became fabricated with slightly different things, and it was a different color when we went to Comedy's Channel.
Well, I'm going to Minneapolis on Tuesday. Is there any place you want me to look?
Yes.
What would it be worth? Could it be worth it could be worth something, right?
I think if you found who knows? Jim Mallon might have it, or he might have sold it off, or Joel might have broken it up into pieces to use parts for something else. Aha. Any of those things are possible.
Do people like the old pup? Is there something about the old pup they like better, or they just miss?
No, it's just different.
If
you see them side by side, you notice that they're different. They're still the basic gumball machine head, just slightly different details about the body and less hot. Servo on the national show was much less hot glued together looking. Mad City Architect says, I wonder what it would be like if Abbott and Costello met Louis Armstrong. I'm not going to speculate about that. I'm not going to speculate about what it would be like to meet Satchmo.
I'm not doing Satchmo, right?
No, you're doing, bud. I'm not going to meet Satchmo.
Look, Lou. Lou.
Well, I'm not going to do it.
Satchmo's one of the biggest stars in the world, Lou.
But he's going to upstage us.
Be nice to Satchmo. Stay out of his way.
He's a son of a bitch, I'm telling you. He's right behind me, isn't he? Hello there, Lou. Hey, bud.
What?
Hi, bud.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm good.
I'm the biggest star in the world.
I'd like you to meet my partner, Lou Costello.
Well, hello, Lou Costello.
Lou, say hello. Lou, would you say hello?
Hi, Satchmo.
Lou, just be normal to the man.
I'm a bad boy. So probably nothing like that. Mad City Architect says, did you guys watch the Women's World Cup finals? Those women were amazing on and off the pitch. They seemed amazing off the pitch and in the clips of on the pitch, but I did not watch.
Why don't we watch?
It wasn't a sexist thing. I wouldn't have watched Men's World Cup either, just for the record.
I find that I'm very excited about it. I know it means something good because how could the same country win so many times if we weren't giving it our all? And I think it's that Trumpian, we can do it spirit. I bet they never won before Trump was president. I bet. So no, I would watch them, but I don't watch things as much. Like I didn't watch as much Olympics. Again, I'm with you in the men's soccer. I saw maybe 2 seconds of a World Cup.
Are you Wimbledoning?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm doing that more than I've watched anything else.
Are you DVRing or are you watching it live?
DVRing, because unless you really can watch the whole thing, you have to.
Yeah. Dave says, I'm torn about sharing dessert. It's the only time my wife allows me to save some money. Why does it have to be dessert? I'm mean?
Wait a second. Did you pick up what the question is?
Yeah. He's saying, should I have to fucking share my dessert with my wife?
Why should he? What's the arrangement there?
I think he's asking as opposed to everyone for themselves.
Well, and so he's
torn about it. It would seem that he's forced to share dessert with his wife on a fairly regular basis, and he's torn about whether he should have to.
I can only speak for my wife and myself, and we share desserts.
Okay.
In fact, that's the only way.
Do you order one and share it, or do you order two?
It doesn't. That we don't know. Sometimes it means we sometimes order two. We plan to order two, but we will share it if we have to. If it's a restaurant thing,
right?
But we share desserts at home a lot.
Do you?
Well, yeah, we both have.
That's a little weird. That's a little weird.
In bed, naked, and she wears the outfit. Meanwhile, I'm playing a tuba, and if Joe Louis
take it back to dessert, bring it around,
and Satchmo comes around.
Yeah, so we share dessert, my wife and I too. So, and if there's two good things, we'll order the two and share them. And if there's just one good-looking thing that I really want to try, we'll order that.
I think the issue.
I also like to use dessert as a weapon against my wife because she has this deep-seated thing about wanting to leave as soon as the meal is over because her mom used to make her sit at the table until she finished every bite.
Oh.
So she has this pathological antsiness when the meal gets over. So that's when I want to bring the dessert menu around.
Oh, man. That sounds so loving. I think this would be something other couples could hear if one of them wants to kill the other.
Yes. She's aware of my taunting. It's
But I will say, though, that you shouldn't ever feel deprived. I understand that unless you are deprived because of money. But I think you should. There should be no rules in a way. You could both have two of the same any way you want. Because if you're gonna do the Kindler plan, okay, I'm done. Sorry, I had something there.
Yeah. What you don't want is that situation where all your spouse wants to do is have part of your thing.
That's the larger metaphor.
Right. Seth Dobson says, what's worse? 1, playing a gig with your band where the audience is made up entirely of the other bands on the bill. 2, the stand-up equivalent of number 1. I would way rather do the band gig with other bands in the audience than the stand-up gig with other stand-ups in the audience.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean...
Well, you're about to do a giant show with just stand-ups in the audience. So.
Well, but I could get queasy for that. Everything could sound great.
I'm just saying, with a band, there aren't uncomfortable silences.
That's true.
You know? You're never out on a limb playing a song, really.
Well, in general, I felt more protected in the band.
Yeah, you are.
I was. Except a lot of times I felt that in the band in college that Paul Gray, who was a great guitar player and he passed away, I think he did want to get rid of me a lot.
Yeah.
I don't say he passed away as part of the same thought because he was a wonderful person and a great guitarist, but I felt like he was the star of the band and I felt like I wasn't very good. It could have been because I wasn't very good, too. That could have played into it.
Yeah.
Well, back when I was playing in bands, you really wanted to be a great lead guitarist, and I don't think I ever was. I enjoyed my lead guitar, but there was a lot of competition.
Yeah.
This guy's, you should see him, he's got 12 fingers. But that's also that part.
I've played 2 guitar solos in my life.
Really?
In a band situation, yeah.
Do you ever, like, do something where you roll, like, you know, you're like in a recording just because you're alone and you do the rhythm track and then you just play over it? Because I'd like to do that.
No, never.
How about with a friend? A friend comes over and you can play.
No.
You don't like leads.
No.
That's,
harmonica.
well, we know you do because of the articles that were written in Harmonica. Listening to some Stevie Wonder. Oh my God.
He's a great harmonica player.
R&B classics.
Yeah.
And that do boom boom bang, shmoopy dappy do boom 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 boom. Songs from the Key to Life and your inner vision. I mean, it's just that. Check them out, Stevie Wonder. Some of that stuff. This is what I think I would have liked to have played like in my faux fusion band.
Is Stevie Wonder kind of?
Yeah, during those like really, I forgot the song. Not just Do I Do, but earlier than that, and my mind's going like.
Yeah. Larry Harold says 2 questions for 2 not too spicy but just right guys. 1, who's the most charismatic person you've ever met? And 2, any Disneyland experiences you'd like to share? Wow, very disparate questions. Most charismatic person I've ever met might be Michael DeBar, subject of my upcoming documentary. Don Johnson had this movie star vibe that was intimidating to me in a way that seemed much larger than he actually was as a star.
Right. Hicks?
Bill wasn't really that charismatic.
Well, I thought
off stage.
Right. Off stage, he was. I guess I can't separate the two in a way because he was really charismatic on stage.
Yeah.
God, sometimes my mind goes blank on who I've met that. Like I haven't met Dylan, right?
Yeah, he's a ball of charisma.
I have to think about this one. Charisma is a weird term because I know there are people. I mean, there are people who when I'm around them, I wanted to just hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like
don't you flatter me.
Gruber, I get a little bit that because I don't see him that much.
Yeah.
But there's also people you want to love you. So like someone like Gruber, I would want to make him laugh. Like we're together all the time, but if you see somebody, I gotta make that guy laugh.
Right.
But that can be very quickly cross the line into danger for me. If you put people on a pedestal too much.
Right. As I've said before, it's
not good.
You never hear the story of the person who stayed on the pedestal forever. It's always a harbinger of a gravity situation.
I would say Norm Macdonald would be someone who had a lot of charisma off stage. Like he's a character.
Yeah. No,
you know what? That question just mesmerized me.
It really did.
I get to this thing. This is not a contest, right?
No.
The questions?
I went with Don Johnson.
I think that I have to always watch.
But generally, narcissists are the most charismatic people.
Yeah.
And the ones that manage it well and make other people feel special have a thing.
But there's also those people.
Evidence to our president. Well, you're president.
But there's also people like when I was a kid, I loved, and I liked the documentary on Paul Williams when he would come on shows.
Yeah.
And I'm not just using him as an example, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who, Tony Randall would be a perfect example. He would be someone who has so much charisma, what I'm loving about him. But then he might be completely different.
Yeah, and I kind of see him as anti-charisma. I see him as almost defiantly off-putting.
Well,
like that's where his comedy came from, and Panel at least was that standoffishness.
Well, I mean, Martin. I also love that Martin Short's whole thing where you can put on a show, kind of for you.
Martin Short's, I think, charismatic.
Yeah. Okay, stop me.
I already have. Sethek the Third says, I was at a barbecue with the ad guys who do the Sonic spots, and they said their first choice for the two in the car was James Mason and Foster Brooks. Talk about a what if, he says.
Where was he again when he met these two guys?
He's at a barbecue with ad guys.
Wow.
Who do the Sonic ads, which is very...
Yeah. And wow, that's interesting coming from them.
So, Foster, have you tried the new Sonic Buffalo Chunks? Well, no, I haven't. Have you tried saying Buffalo Chunks? With delicious ranch dip. Well, I enjoy ranch dip, but I prefer it on a salad. I can't see myself eating chicken pieces. They sound a little spicy.
Man,
I'm not in good form tonight.
I think people need to start paying for this. This is asking a lot.
I like the challenge, but when I don't live up to it,
it's hard.
It hurts. It makes me sad.
You get something. You always get just the voice. There were ups tonight. There were downs tonight. We felt like we couldn't go one more minute. But you know what?
I can't go one more minute without saying, pick up my album, Chunks. J. Elvis Weinstein Chunks, available on all your audio platforms, streaming, downloading. Check it out, people. And then check out our shirts at Zazzle.com. And rate us and review us at iTunes. And I hope you enjoyed Andy in Minneapolis this past week.
And coming up, get ready for my Montreal appearance, Montrealers.
That's right, people. If you're listening to this and going to Montreal, you've got a behind-the-scenes pass to Andy's State of the Industry speech. It's bonus content. All right, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming over, Andy.
Thank you, Josh. And healing energy to Clyde. I want everyone to send healing energy to little Clyde. I'm doing it now, too. Now I can't end the show with one of my usual sarcastic...
I can't really end on healing energy.
That's terrible. It's not because it's like one of my...
Fucking Marianne Williamson.
You had it a little bit before me, but I was like, why don't we do our daily paper journal? Mm-hmm. All right, forget that. Then I say hello to the troops. And
Really? That's
no.
healing.
I can't. I just can't.
Again, you're healing. Enough with the healing.